Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about notaries again. Who are those people, right? In every country there are different rules, like in Russia, for example, notary is notary, notary is not a lawyer, notary does not have to be a lawyer. And in Manitoba, to become a notary, you have to be a lawyer. So if you're a lawyer, you automatically can apply to be a notary. So there is some exceptions that Manitoba government does for community purposes. They issue notary seal with the expiration date and it's limited, and as far as I know, they're not allowed to take money from you because it's done for the purposes of supporting the community. Like Russian community has one, I know. I'm not sure what other communities. I guess the amount of people of that community will dictate whether they need that seal or not, because the bigger community, the more chances somebody needs a notary, and therefore somebody can go apply and get that limited appointment. So we know for sure that immigration center, they have notaries, but they are not lawyers, and those notaries the same as appointed for the community. We do know, if you follow us, that we had an issue with MPI and notaries and all that stuff. So we do know that they do charge for their procedure in immigrant center. It's not clear whether it's for notary, whether it's for certification of translation, or for whatever procedure, or just because they allowed to do that. And I've discussed that with the office that issues this seals, and there's no clear answer. So like we've dealt with the MPI issues, we're gonna be posting about it later. So next will be my discussion maybe with that office, say, okay, clarify who is entitled to get paid for that. Like we don't really care, but it would be good to know that if you issue that seal, and that seal, whoever has the seal cannot charge, shouldn't be charging these people, because that's given for that purposes, to help the community. So us as lawyers, we can charge for notarization, no problem. And our seal doesn't have expiration date. So when I put a stamp, there is no expiry date. So in different provinces, like I just know from personal experience from BC, let's say in BC, they have notaries who can do real estate transactions, who can do estate planning as well. I have a friend who graduated from, I don't remember what university, and she's not a lawyer, but she is notary, and she has a wide range of services that she can provide. Okay, so they have that specific rule that a non-lawyer can be a notary and can charge, and not only charge but do these significant transactions. In Alberta, I just looked up, they have a Notary and Commissioners Act, and it says that even articling student, I believe, can be a notary. I don't remember if we were not, I don't think it would work in Manitoba, because you have to be a lawyer in good standing. So until you are a lawyer called to the bar, you do not qualify to become a notary. So, and I don't recall that I had it before I was called to the bar. So as you see, different provinces, different rules. We don't have a specific in Manitoba act that's called Notaries Act. It's the Evidence Act, and this act states who can take oath, who can sign affidavits and all that stuff. So there's all of the rules, and I have to tell you that the wording is so confusing even for me. Like I was reading, it's just like what does it even mean? Like, I mean, and it's not only this Evidence Act, it's not only dealing with notaries or commissioners for oath, it deals with the evidence, like in general, let's call it the Evidence Act, how the evidence can be provided to the court and all that stuff. So I did take a course that it was called Evidence in the law school. I think it was in the second year or something, I can't remember, but yeah, but the reading is not easy there anyway. So but if you're interested to see what a commissioner can do, what a notary can do, or who else can witness your documents, you can definitely go check that act, and it has a list. So sometimes when you get documents from some organization, they say, okay, you can go to your doctor, you can go to your like court, you can go to, I don't know, whatever. There's a list of people who are entitled, who actually have a right to take an affidavit from you, right, and sign it. So, but I can't imagine you going to a pharmacist or your doctor and say, hey, I need to sign, I make a note, can you sign it? And it was like, no, probably that's not going to happen. And to get to the doctor, even for your appointment, it takes a while. So it's easier to get a notary and have it done. So yes, you can do stuff in court, like even when you self-represented and you're filing something in court and you need an affidavit to have it filed, and you don't want to go see a notary or commissioner, you can come to the counter, and the person who works at court, they can at the counter stamp it. Okay, I'm not sure how easy it is. Maybe it's no problem. They also can stamp all your exhibits. So also what you need to know, whether the commissioner's document, let's say there's commissioner and there's a notary. So to become a commissioner, it's very easy. You can apply just by making an application to the office who deals with that, and they will give you a certificate with your expiration date. So whenever you sign something, you have to put when your commission expires. And I believe you're not entitled to charge for that. Maybe something changed, I don't know, but we can clarify. So when documents go outside of province, you need to make sure that commissioner stamp is actually going to be accepted. Okay, so most cases it's not. Like I've seen a lot of documents where they demand actually a notary to be. So commissioners for out of province, the document might not be accepted. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. There's also rules for commissioners who can practice outside of province and inside the province. I've done that investigation too, because it was the case with MPI. We had people like notarizing some stuff thinking that they're here, and in reality I don't think they were here. So we did some investigation, and at that point I found out, yes, there is 2 appointments, but the seal, not the seal, but the stamp has to say that you are commissioner entitled to practice outside of Manitoba. But I think it's for the use for Manitoba, so you can be like say on Ontario, and if the documents come back here, so you can use it. In Alberta, for example, I just quickly looked at that act. I'm just curious, like who can apply? Like the articling students can apply, the lawyers can apply, and you have to be, sorry, my husband phoning, you have to be either citizen or lawfully admitted to Canada. So you have to be, they don't say you have to be a permanent resident, but I don't see, maybe there's a situation then when you're here on like a work permit and you became a notary here. So that I don't know how it works. So it's in Alberta. I don't know what exactly the requirements here in Manitoba, because it's pretty clear you have to be a lawyer and you apply, or it has to be appointed person from the community. So I guess they ask your status in Canada. So this is an interesting question that I just raised to myself, and I'm gonna talk to the office maybe next week sometime or in a week, because I'm just curious, like who has these powers, because it's quite a power, right? We make photocopies, we confirm these documents from originals, we make copies, right? We make copies from original passports or like other identification documents. We verify the people when they're doing some like signing important documents like power of attorneys, right? Giving powers to sell their property, or when they're selling their property, when they're doing the mortgages. And so those powers are not a joke, I would say, right? Because you're a trusted person. You have to make sure that everything was done properly, and therefore the people who give us those seals, right, and stamps, they have to make sure that it's the right person who gets it, right? So that it's not a joke. Anyway, so because I'm not sure whether there's notaries who are from the communities, right, have any insurance. I don't think they do, but again, I can figure it out. We can just have the whole investigation about notary world. I know in the States there's a lot of, I follow some notaries online, how they do online, their promotion. I know that they allow to do online signing in some states, right? And so I'm very curious about business as a notary business. I know that in Russia, while I was still living there a long time ago, or Soviet Union, they have a special like book that they have to record every notarial transaction, and everything has a like a number and all. Like it's very strict. Here it's very easy. You come, I'll look at your ID and I put some stamps and you're done. Yeah, so everything is completely different. But to become, I think, a notary back in Soviet or Russia, let's say, it's not it wasn't easy, because it's very like prestigious and lucrative, I would say, position. Anyway, but you didn't have to be a lawyer, I believe, right? So that's it about notary, just like a little bit of a for you to understand who they are. And if you going to a notary that not a lawyer and just not a lawyer, but just somebody from the community, make sure that they don't charge you. Because if this is true, if they're not allowed to charge, like, you have to tell them, well, you have to do it for free. But I know it's been happening in our community, and the only way to stop it is that when a client complains. So I can't go and complain saying some client came to me, he paid to him or whatever. I'm not going to do it, and because it seems like I'm trying to compete with that person, right? It's I don't need it. I just feel bad for those people who trying to get help in the community, and the stamp is given for that purpose, they're being charged. That's all I'm saying. But it's up to you, of course, because maybe they charge less than lawyers, or maybe they're more flexible and so on, and you're okay with that. So what I was hoping to do, we can go through Evidence Act and maybe have some examples of the documents, because I want to devote the September months to a notary month, to make it a notary month, because we are launching our new website, and just devoted to the notary services. And I think it will be easier for people to understand, like, what do they need to bring, who has to come, how can it be done. And because sometimes people make an appointment and I see like a woman shows up and there's a travel consent, and she said, oh, I'm signing it for my husband, he's allowing me to go with the kids somewhere. It's like, well, it doesn't work like that, right? And especially removing the kid, and like in any event, the person who signs it has to be present, right? And we had a cases like people finding us online saying, okay, I'm traveling, but I need to do a remote signing with you. And I don't know these people, and I don't know like how to even identify them, and they're not in the country. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I know right now that Staples has promo that they connect you. Like I walked once in the Staples, one of the Staples stores, and they have a big like stand there saying notary services, and it's like, I'm curious. So I took a picture, and it says like we're doing it like within 5 minutes or 7 minutes or whatever. So I want to investigate that too, kind of just to see where does it go, because you cannot, as far as I know, do any remote signing here, right? Like, because you need to get, even like you're allowed, because of the COVID, our rules change, you can do signing remotely, but what happens, you have to get that document back and put a seal on it, on sign, and explain to the authorities. Let's say if it's like a land titles documents, right? Like you can do a transfer with remote signing, but it has to be an ink. It can be, let's say, the Adobe sign or DocuSign, and those documents have to arrive back to me, and they have a barcodes, and I have to say how I sent it to you. I have to say that I saw you online, that you presented me your ID, and I know you for a long time. And then I have to make a statement that that I received it, and then the day I signed it, and like basically swearing that this is how it all happened, and put a signature on the document that you signed on that day. So the document has both blue ink signatures. So it's not like you sign there, scan it, and it's accepted. No, that doesn't work like that. So there's lots of different rules for different type of documents, and I want to go kind of deeper into that, and with the help of Evidence Act, and also maybe we can just download different types of documents from vital statistics, or some colleges, universities that demand it, or accreditation offices, like for the doctors, for nurses, and for pharmacists. That's the most that I see for applications to their school, and kind of go through and say, okay, you need this and this, and go over this requirement. Maybe it will be interesting, maybe not, but for somebody it probably will be useful, because if you complete this application and it's not right, then you lost your time, you lost your deadline maybe, and that's not fun. So when I talk about notary stuff with my husband, he's just like, and my husband is a lawyer, right? If you're watching me, you know that. And he's like, I don't want to touch it. I'm gonna screw it up. I don't know what to do, how to do it. And it's more complicated than one could think, because it's not just to put a seal. Yes, some documents you just make a copy and put a seal and that's it. But the cases we see, it's a little bit more complex. And that's what we want to educate you about. So when you come to us, you're prepared, so there is no problem with the documents, there is no problem who showed up, and everybody's happy at the end. Okay, I wish you a wonderful day. It's for us, it's a Sunday, long weekend, and I might try to, if we're gonna go to the lake today, make an interesting video about cottages and the land, who can buy or not allowed to buy the property. So I'm going to do some research about it. My husband knows about it. He told me about it. He said it would be very interesting video, and I want to do some, it's not a case anymore, but I want to look at the history of that act, or caveat. It was related to the land and certain group of people who were not allowed to be buying it there. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. Bye.